This is my passion. This is Ike's Outdoors.
Hey guys, Ike here from IkesOutdoors.com. Today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about budget hunting. And I'm going to cover a lot of stuff in this video, so feel free to rewatch it, stop it, rewind it, go back, do whatever you need to do. But I'm just going to get into this, and we're going to cover a bunch of stuff in as quick as I possibly can. So, I've experienced this. I've been a welder for the last 10 years, so I don't have to watch my budget quite as bad as I used to. But there's been a time in my life when I was a college student. There's been a time in my life when I cowboyed for a living, and there's been a time in my life when I really had to watch my pennies. And like when me and Lindsay first got married, I really had to watch what I spent on my hunting equipment. And luckily, the Lord's blessed me and gave me a good job, and as well as Ike's Outdoors, to kind of help me through that. But there's still some times, there's still some things that I can save some money on, and I do. So I want to try to pass that along to you guys, so that you guys can hopefully get out in the woods and save a little bit of money in the process. The first thing we want to talk about is camo. You can get away with buying some camo. I hardly ever spend a lot of money on camo. I think the most expensive set I ever bought was my High Creek stuff, and it turned out to be an investment that was well worth it. And we're not talking about, before I jump into this too far, I want to talk to you guys. I like to buy stuff that's going to last for a lifetime, and I think you're going to save money in the long run by buying stuff like that. I've had this jacket right here for 4 or 5 years, and knives, I've had some knives for 15 years, so I think you're going to, in the long run, you're going to buy quality, you're going to save money by having it for years. We're not talking about the guys who can go out and do that. I'm talking about the guys who've got $1,000 to spend, got a little money on the tax return, and need to turn that into as much hunting equipment as possible to get them through right now, because that's what I did. I bought what I needed to get me through, and as I went, I bought that better quality stuff, 1 or 2 pieces at a time. So that's what we're talking about doing, is getting you enough to get you started and get you out in the field. Talking about camo, you can buy your camo. Best place to buy it is, you can buy a lot of it at yard sales, you can buy a lot of it at flea markets, surplus stores, stuff like that is a really good place to find camouflage. Woodlands camo, the old military BDUs, military issue gear will work just fine. It absolutely will work great. Anything that's going to break up your pattern. You don't have to be stuff like what I've got on here. I still got some of the old Woodlands camo pants that I still wear today. And if you can find some of that stuff, the old Realtree, the old mossy oak, the old tree bark, any of that stuff is going to work pretty good. You don't have to have the newest, latest high-definition camouflage. I've read a recent study talking about deer's vision, and it just reasserted the belief that I have that camouflage is not quite as important as what we put faith in it. Anything to break up your outline is going to work real good. Walmart, you can go to Walmart and pick up some camouflage pretty cheap. You can also go to Bass Pro Outlet Store. Cabela's has the Bargain Cave, you can go there, but I recommend going to the flea markets, military surplus stores, and Sportsman's Guide has a really good stuff, some really good stuff on military issue stuff you can pick up pretty cheap. One thing I suggest, you're going to need pants, shirt, jacket, boots, socks. Those are the things you're going to need. What I suggest is to get you a good camouflage shirt that's a size too big, and a pair of camouflage pants that are a size too big. When you don't need the extra insulation, you can always put a belt on. But the reason why I suggest buy those a size too big is so you can wear those in the late season and be able to put some stuff underneath them. Same way with the boots. I say you buy them one size too big. They're going to be a little bit more uncomfortable at the beginning of the year, but when it gets late season, if you are able to only buy 1 pair of boots, buy them lightweight and start adding socks, the thick socks, as the year gets a little bit colder. The underlayers that you need, you don't have to have camouflage underneath. I've got a blue shirt on underneath here. Now, you don't even know I've got a blue shirt on underneath here. It's all camouflage. So as long as you got a good camouflage jacket, a good camouflage set of pants, you can put any kind of layers on underneath these that you want. So you got a sweater, you got some thermals, some of the old white thermals, or anything that's going to keep you warm. You can pick those up. If you got them, just wash them with your camouflage and you can wear those as your layers. So you don't need Under Armour and expensive stuff like that to put under your camouflage. You basically need a good outer layer of camouflage to break up your outline, and then you need just stuff underneath it that's going to help keep you warm. That's basically about it. So that's pretty much it when you're camo. You know, you want to buy your pants, your shirt, and your boots one size too big, so you can layer underneath those when the weather gets colder. Because believe me, bow hunting, if you're hardcore like I am, you're going to freeze. You're going to get out there and you're going to get cold. Gloves, you know, a pair of jersey gloves are going to work just fine. I got a pair of jersey gloves that I put a cotton liner glove underneath them. That actually they're like a roping glove is what I would call them. And for the majority of the time that I'm in a tree stand, I've got my hands right here anyway, or I've got something up front. I've got them in my pockets. Very rarely are my hands actually out in the cold. Now there's times when I'll have to grab my bow and sit there and hold it, but if you're like me, when my adrenaline's flowing, when I see a deer and I think I'm actually going to get shot, I don't feel the cold. So a good cheap pair of gloves, you don't need anything real expensive. I'd say you can probably pick up a good pair of gloves that'll last you all season long for probably $5, maybe 10 at the very most. But there's a lot of gloves out there that are $20 or so that are camouflage that aren't much better than some of the cheap ones. And your gloves don't necessarily need to be camouflage. The ones I wear are just black, and they're just a black kind of like an insulated mechanics glove, and I bought them at Walmart for $10. And then I've got, like I said, I've got that cheap liner that goes underneath them for when it gets really cold. Arrows. You can pick up arrows pretty cheap. I don't recommend the Walmart arrows. I just don't like them. They may be fine arrows, but the reason I don't like the Walmart arrows is because they only come in a standard length, and you need to get them cut down. If you go to Walmart and buy those arrows and then you bring them to me when I worked at the shop, I'm going to charge you for cutting them down. One, I've got to cut them down with the insert already in them, and I've got to do some labor on them. I got to replace the insert, so you're going to pay, I charge $4 a dozen to cut them down, and then you paid $0.25 for each insert. So you're looking at probably, let's see, $4, and then 12 times 25, you guys can do the math there. That's what you're looking at on getting those things cut down to your proper length. Now if you're 30-inch, you need a 30-inch arrow, you're fine. Go right ahead and buy the Walmart arrows all day long. But for the price of bringing them to my shop, having them cut down and putting new inserts in them, you could buy some better arrows than that. Easton makes some that are Power Flights, about $5 an arrow, already fleshed up and ready to go. These ones are by Gold Tip. These are the Vapor. These are a good carbon arrow, just a low-end carbon. And I think Victory makes ones called Buckbusters. What they are is a, you know, like these are all made the same. These standard diameter carbon arrows. What happens is these are not quite as good as a Gold Tip Hunter. These Vapors, the straightness isn't as good, the grain tolerance isn't as good, but for a hunting shaft, it really doesn't matter. Same way with the Victories. The Victory Buckbusters are like, instead of a V1 being their top of the line, V2, V3, they're like a V6. So they're not quite as straight, the weight tolerance isn't quite as good, but what you can do, most of the straightness issues are on the ends. So what I always do is cut down an inch off of the front, or off of the back, your knock end, and then I cut the remainder off of the front, and that'll actually straighten them up a little bit. So that'll improve the quality of straightness for your shaft. But even if you don't do that, these Vapors here, you know, I've used them. I've used the Buckbusters in the past for some test arrows, and my wife shoots the Power Flights, and we have absolutely zero issues with those arrows. She shot really good with the Power Flights from Easton, so pretty good, pretty tough arrow. So there's nothing wrong with shooting something like the Vapors, the Power Flights, the Buckbusters, some of these low-end arrows, and you can buy these usually for less than $5 or lower, fletched up and ready to go. So, knock that off there. So that's, you know, you can get your arrows, just have them cut an inch off the back side and have them cut the remaining length off of the front, and that's really going to help you with your straightness and your consistency. Okay, we're talking about bows now. When it comes to bows, there's a lot of good bows on the market. You guys have seen me test bows, and I've even heard the comment of, well, every time you test these bows, you have nothing but good things to say. And I'll be honest with you, it's really hard to find a bad bow on the market today. And don't get me wrong, there are some bad bows on the market today. But it's really hard to find some that aren't good and that aren't quiet, accurate, smooth. The technology behind bows today just makes them that much better. So I really don't want to call these low-end bows, but you can buy some really good, cheaper bows. I've got several bows. I've got 3 bows that cost over $1,000 bare, and I've got a couple of bows that cost $700 to $800 bare. I've also got a Martin bangle that costs about $500 bare, and that bangle is every bit as good as some of those other bows. Now you know the difference between a $1,000 bow and a $500 bow. There is a little bit of a difference there. But as far as accuracy, consistency, and the ability to go out and kill game, that Martin will stay right there with any of them. I would not be, if I had to hunt with that bow and someone said, hey, this is the only bow that you can hunt with, go out and kill a deer, there would be no issues with that at all. So the $500 bow is definitely going to be a way to go, and you can pick them up cheaper than that. There are several Bears, several Martins, several bows by G5 that are actually under $500, and there's several bows out there that are $500 and they come with a kit, and that's what I would recommend. I know Martin has them, I know Bear has them, G5 may have some kind of a kit bow, but for a guy who's just starting out, you can go out and pick up a Diamond Outlaw for, I believe, $4.99. Prices may have changed, and it's got everything on it you need. Bear's got several bows that are under $500 that come with a kit, and they've got everything you need on them. And now most of these accessories, you know, you're not going to get a ripcord and a big fancy high-dollar sight or anything like that. But what they're going to do is they're going to get you in the woods. There's nothing wrong with the quiver, with the rests, with the sights on these bows. One thing I would recommend is most of the kit bows that I've seen have a pretty basic plain Jane sight on them, and they have hardly any fiber optic on them, so they're not very bright when it comes to low light situations. You can take that off of there and pick up a sight for 20 bucks that you can put back on, and it ain't going to be much better, but it's going to come with a light. Or if the sight that comes with it has a threaded insert or a threaded area on it where you can get a light, you can pick up a light for 12 to 15 bucks. And you can put that on there. And with a light on there, it don't matter how much fiber optics they've got. If they've got a little bit, that's going to be fine. You're going to be able to see plenty after dark with those. So I recommend Bear, Martin, Diamond has their bows, anything like that for under 500 bucks. If you can buy an accessory, a kit bow, that's definitely going to be the way to go to get you started. You don't have to know a lot about the stuff that's on there, about how to set it up or anything like that. For the most part, it's going to be right there for you and ready to go, and you're not going to have to go out and do a bunch of comparison shopping to get the best stuff. Now, two years down the line, 3 years down the line, if you want to change that stuff up, you'll have a little bit more knowledge behind you. Oh, you have a little bit more cash, and you can start upgrading 1 or 2 things at a time. But as far as the quality of the bows, there's several bows out there that are under $500 that I would not be afraid to head to the woods with today. Definitely not. There's some awesome bows out there that are under 500 bucks. Broadheads is the one area that I would say do not go cheap. You know, I've got a whole glass jar here full of broadheads that are, some of them high dollar and some of them are cheap, and this is a cheap one, and I guarantee you're gonna get one shot out of this head. I shot them one year for coyotes. I picked them up because they were $6 for 3 of them. So I had a bunch of coyotes, and I shot these 4 coyotes, and every time I shot a coyote with them, they'd come out and they'd have blades missing on them and different stuff like that. Same way with some of these other ones I've got in here. They're just cheap broadheads, and they don't hold up. You know, I've got some other ones in here, like this this Razor Hawk from Red Feather Archery. That's been through the wars. I got a lot of use out of it. It did really good when it passed through the deer and did a lot of damage and really held up well. Don't go cheap on your broadheads. Get something that's good, something that's high quality, and something that's gonna last you. I like the products. I like the heads that can be resharpened. They're worth their money. You know, they're worth the money in the long run. This one here is from Red Feather, and so is this one. And either one of these can be resharpened. They don't have a replaceable blade. So, granted, they're going to cost you a little bit more than some of the cheap ones you can go down to Walmart and buy. But anything that you can resharpen, and trust me, you can find videos on the internet, on YouTube, on how to resharpen these. I know Stan's even got a video on the Red Feather website that'll show you how to resharpen each one of these. these heads are going to last you for a long time because they can be resharpened. So barring you losing one, this head is probably going to last you for 3 to 4 seasons, where that other head's going to last you 1. And the thing about it is this one's going to repeatedly do a good job, where those cheaper ones, the blades are going to break. And sometimes them blades are going to break on impact. I've shot a coyote with one. The blade broke on impact, and when it went through, the entry hole looked like that because 2 of the blades had actually broke. It had one long blade hole on it where the blade had went through, and the other 2 had broke plumb off at the skin. So with broadheads, you're going to get what you pay for, and we owe it to the animals that we hunt, the animals that we shoot, to give them a good clean kill. And definitely do not skimp on your broadheads. And if you don't skimp on your broadheads and you buy something that's resharpenable, something that will hold up, like the G5 Montex, NAP Hellraisers, some of these ones like that, you're going to get your use out of them. You're definitely going to be, unless you lose them, then you're going to be able to resharpen them. You're constantly going to be able to use them, and you're going to get several seasons out of them that are going to make it well worth it. So we don't skimp on broadheads, that's for sure. That's one thing I have never skimped on, and I've been real happy about that. Now, when it comes to getting your clothes, your camo cleaned, you don't have to buy. You can buy a jug of sports wash at Walmart in the camping section for $5. You can buy some laundry detergent there in the hunting section as well. Academy, all these people have that for under $10. But if you don't have the money to buy that and you want to save a little bit of money, you can use Arm & Hammer. Just put your camouflage in your laundry or in your machine. Put some Arm & Hammer in there and just wash them with that instead of using soap. And then put them in your dryer with nothing in there, no laundry detergent or no fabric softener or anything like that in your dryer, sheets, whatever the hell those things are called. But just use Arm & Hammer. Arm & Hammer is also a good way when you store your camouflage. You can put a little bit of Arm & Hammer in there, and that'll absorb the odor. You can also use it to put in your boots, you know, if you want to absorb odor in your boots, different things like that. So Arm & Hammer has a lot of good uses. The other thing for scent control is, like, I have this big jug of scent away here, and if it's already deer season and you're already out hunting, go buy you a big jug of this scent away. It's really good stuff, works real good, and you get a lot for a little bit. But a good way to buy this and all your hunting equipment is on sale. So Walmart, if you go to Walmart right now, I guarantee you're going to see stacks and stacks and stacks of this stuff. I don't know about Academy or Bass Pro or Cabela's, but you go to Walmart, and Walmart's great because it's a seasonal object, whereas Bass Pro, Academy, it's not as seasonal. They'll sell it all year round. With Walmart, this is seasonal. So after rifle season around here, Walmart will start marking this stuff down. And usually around January, late December, after Christmas, January, you can get some of this stuff for an absolute steal. And what I always do is, when that happens, I'll go in every week and I'll buy 1 or 2 bottles of it. And by the time they're out, or the time I think I stop myself, I've got enough for several years. I've got 2 or 3 of these. I've got several of the Primos. I've got several of the Dead Downwind. Same way with their laundry stuff. After season, you can go in there and buy that stuff marked down really cheap, and you can get it for a pretty good price, and you can stock up on it. Stuff like this doesn't go bad, so you can buy this stuff, and in 2 or 3 years, it's still going to be fine to use. Now, do not do that with anything that's a doe urine or a urine-based product, because if you do that, the urine will eventually get an ammonia smell to it, and it will go bad. You don't want to be using that when it has that ammonia smell to it. Anything urine-based. Synthetic stuff may be alright, but I don't really tempt it. I'll just buy I can buy it for $4 or $5 each year. Or you can use something like the trophy blends that's going to last for quite a while. But I don't buy any scents on sale. I buy them each year, and that's about all I buy anymore. Another good way, Black Friday sales, if you've got a Bass Pro or sporting goods stores, Bass Pro, Dick's, Cabela's, Sportsman's Warehouse, any of that stuff like that. If you got a Black Friday, can hit them up on a Black Friday. There's some really good sales going on there as well. Bass Pro also does something called the Fall Festival. I know Cabela's does something similar. When the Fall Festival is going on, you can go up there and you can find some pretty good deals as well. Bargain caves, outlet stores, you can find some pretty good deals on that kind of stuff there. And the biggest thing, like right now, I'm trying to get you set up for right now. and to use this year. You know, you can go to Walmart and buy you a pinup stand for $40. Go and buy you one pinup and one set of climbing sticks, or a set of screw-in steps if they're legal in your state, and you're gonna have to carry that thing around with you. It stinks, but I had to do it, and you know, you may have to do it till you get some tree stands accumulated and you can leave them out there. Trail cameras, you know, they're not a necessity. You can go out and do a lot of scouting. We lived without trail cameras for a lot of years. So you get what you need to get from the beginning. A good bow, a good cheap bow, one with an accessory package on it. Some good cheap arrows, have them cut out on your last end. Cut the inch off of one end and the rest of them off of the front, and you're going to have a good consistent arrow. Get your scent removal stuff on sale. Buy whatever you can on sale. Camouflage. Get a good heavy coat, a good shirt, good pants, good pair of boots. One size too big. Wear layers underneath them. They don't have to be camouflage. It can be stuff you have laying around the house. Arm & Hammer works great for scent elimination in several different ways. You can use it in your laundry soap. You can use it in your hunting gear to absorb stuff like that. The only thing you don't want to go cheap on, like I said, is broadheads. You know, you can go cheap on your release. You can buy a Cobra release for around $20. Broadheads, you're going to get what you pay for. If you go cheap, you may end up losing deer, and that's definitely not something you want to do. So go buy a good quality, dependable broadhead. So I hope this helps you guys out. I know I covered a lot. I know we're probably pushing the 20-minute mark here, so I hope you've watched this whole thing. And if there's anything I can do to help you guys out, any questions, just comment below. If you haven't subscribed to us, be sure to click the subscribe button up here. And for more product reviews, how-to videos, be sure to visit our website, ikesoutdoors.com. Thanks, guys.